end of the day, everything's sticky.
That's right in the complaint.
Well, we'll have to go.
Right now.
That's a whole new can of worms.
Yeah, I was good.
I can do it.
Pay their whatever, $20 to park at Matoska.
Yeah.
Be fine. Oh, for the apartments?
New things. I was leaving the house with one to my wife.
That's been there for years, and then I think it's starting to.
Yeah, it's nice that way.
I think they're waiting for it just to fall apart because there's been like, I think 3 or 4 owners have gone through it.
Okay.
Now that they've sold it a couple times. All right, back to the.
I'm all out of order here.
All right, here's the main email.
Reporter on the dock, I think.
It's junky. Put in there years ago when that like trolleys and stuff. And like 3 or 4 people. One was like there's like a channel 4 or channel 4 news report of how she lived there for like a year and then
God
moved.
extra
I think
boat
it's this kind of
inspection
treated transfer.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
No, that would be Scott.
Seems like a.
Boat
Gotta go.
inspection. Oh, you mean
County to get rid of it.
You know, we have this in front of us tonight, this contract with Ramsey County
It's like a
for additional
like an
boat
old pirate
inspections
ship.
for watermill, oil drain them, all that. Do you do the boat inspection stuff with the Ramsey, with the county?
Scott,
That's what I thought.
education.
Scott.
It's in his department.
Do you recall how many hours?
What's that?
Do you recall how many hours of extra boat inspection we got last year?
year? You asked them.
I don't think we had any last year,
Oh,
because it wasn't in the budget. I mean, you'd have to whisper to Mike there.
yeah, he said it was you.
You know, I don't know.
All right, thanks. Okay, well. There she is. Okay, at 7 o'clock, I'm going to call the April 19th, 2022 meeting of the White Bear Lake Conservation District Board to order. We have a quorum, and we are called to order. So the next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda, and I would like to add one thing, and that's Swell. I guess it's Swell Enterprises to the Lake Utilization Committee.
Second.
Any other adjustments? Okay, Diane? Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. Under Treasurer's Report, budget for 2023.
And I will also add under Treasurer's Report QuickBooks support. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as adjusted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, that passes. Next item is approval of the March 15th, 2022 meeting minutes. Does anybody have any adjustments that they'd like to see in those minutes? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that passes. Okay. Public comments, we allow 15 minutes for people to comment on items that are not on the agenda. Would anybody like to take advantage of that 15 minutes? Okay, we'll move on. New business. So we've received an agreement from Ramsey County to provide additional boat inspection services for us. And, I believe we've done this in the past, and it's basically we're paying them to have people out at the boat landings and whatnot to check for, that the boats are being properly drained and this, that, and the other thing, all the things they check for. And so this is in front of us. My understanding is that we don't have any money budgeted in 2022 for these additional inspections. But I wonder what we think about this. And I'd just like to open it up for discussion at the moment. And I guess I'll just start. I think it seems like it would be good to have some additional inspection just for the good of the community, really. But what do we think about that?
I think I agree, and I think the more the better. And as you say, it's for the community. It's not as much. I think we've got about everything in this lake we can have at this point. So maybe you're protecting the other lakes as well as not letting more stuff into this one. So I agree.
Yeah.
Mike?
We haven't got everything yet.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we've done it in the past, and I'd be glad to make a motion.
Meredith?
That's the question. So do they provide some at no charge to us? I'm kind of confused at why we're charged when it's not a private lake or anything.
Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
They come out and they do a lot of hours.
Okay.
It's kind of like the water patrol.
Yep.
These would be additional hours.
Okay.
So they say, we're going to do X number
Do you know how
500
many
hours this summer, and we're going to give you the opportunity to increase that.
Do you know how many hours they do for us?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. But quite a few.
Yeah. It seems like it'd be a great thing. I know that Steve McComas talked about the starry stonewort, and that we don't have it yet. Perhaps they can keep that out of the lake.
Yep. Or spiny flea and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. Based on what we did before, is it mostly when they're pulling boats out of the lake, right, to make sure the drain plugs are...
Yeah, you can't put your boat in the lake, though, without them checking the trailer and that.
Yeah, because really we're worried about stuff coming into the lake, right? But when you inspect it on the way out, you're protecting the other lakes from us.
Yeah, when the DNR talks about it on the things they send out, it's kind of like protect your lake for things coming in and be good steward to other lakes and protect them from things coming out.
And we didn't do any last year, is that right?
No. I don't
What?
think we got a request last year.
Yeah, okay. So it would have been a couple years ago?
Yeah. And we had been doing it regularly.
And remember how much we were spending on it?
2,500.
That's good. Okay, any other general discussion?
So that's about 100 extra hours of boat inspection?
Yeah.
And are they only at the Ramsey County launch, or?
That's for at the Ramsey County launch only. Yep.
Okay, would anybody like to make a motion?
Make a motion. It's $25.74 an hour. Is that what it is?
72. Mhm.
72. Okay, so I make a motion that we spend $2,572 for boat inspection with Ramsey County.
Second. We have a motion and a second to spend $2,572. Any discussion?
Okay, that's out of surplus funds.
That's the way I see it. Yep.
Yeah, it
And-
comes out of lake education, but it'll be out of the general fund.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll boost it up for next year.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, so that passes. Okay. And next item is unfinished business. First item is providing comments on the wake boat study, and that is me, and I have not done anything with that. But I will, unless somebody wants to pick that up and write a draft letter, I'll keep that and commit to bringing something to the May meeting. Good? Good. All right. Administrative assistant position. I'll just provide a quick update on that. So we advertised for the administrative assistant position. We've received a few applications. I'd say the majority of those were through Indeed. So thank you, Scott, for getting those, getting that set up for us. The plan going forward is that Mark, Mike, myself, and Diane, because Diane agreed to help out, we will interview some of the candidates, and we'll bring a recommendation. Our hope is to bring a recommendation to the May meeting. Now, one thing I would like to ask, and I'll put this in the form of a motion, but I'll just discuss it for the moment. I'd like to ask the board to approve a motion to allow this group, call it the search committee, to make an offer to someone that's contingent on board approval. And the reason I'd like to handle it that way is because, you know, sometimes when people go through an interview process, they might not really want the job in the end. And so what we don't want to have happen is us to say, we come to the May meeting and we say we'd like to hire Bob, and the board says, yeah, hire Bob. And then we call Bob, and Bob says, guess I'm not interested. So what we'd like to do is to come to that conclusion the four of us, I guess, and make an offer to someone contingent again on the board final approval, so that we get a sense that this person is really interested and willing to accept the offer that we make. So I would like to make a motion that the search committee be allowed to make an offer to the top candidate contingent on board approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Do we have to approve a limit, or I'm fine if you guys handle it? You know, like a offer not to exceed XXX?
You know, we have a range
Okay.
that we've used in the past as an hourly wage, and we'll try to, we won't offer above that.
Yeah, no,
It's a good
I
question.
trust you for. I just wasn't sure.
Well, you shouldn't necessarily do that, but it's good
we have to-
it's good to ask the question.
I don't want you guys to be like, oh yeah, we forgot to get this approved, and we're back to scenario A of that you'd want to avoid. So
Right.
okay, good.
Okay, any further discussion?
I think it's a great idea because the job market is still pretty competitive, and I don't want you to lose a candidate by not offering fast.
Agreed. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you for that. Next, reports and action items. The executive committee met and we discussed the administrative assistant position and how we were planning to proceed with that. And that was the majority of the discussion. Lake Quality Committee, Mike.
In your packet, you received Steve McComas for Blue Water Science bid for the work to be done this summer. It includes a survey for Eurasian water milfoil and anything else we find out there. It also includes a survey for starry stonewort at the landings, which is, in his experience, typically where it's always first found. And we expanded out. We just didn't go to the landing. We went out like 300 yards all around the landing and all over. It includes a quantitative review, listing of all the plants that we find, a water quality analysis, which comes from Ramsey County. And he will put it all in a package and present it to us. There will be a printout, or it'll be emailed to you, and you can print it out. All the work that's been done, graphs, surveys, past year, treatment areas, and everything. Very informative. And then he will come to the meeting for the highlight of the year to answer questions and anything you want to ask him. Anything, as long as it's not about docks. He doesn't do docks. But yeah, so his because he said because of gas, his bid to do the survey is $100 more than last year. It's $3,600. And so I would like to make a motion that we approve his survey bid and use Steve McComas this summer at $3,600 coming out of the Lake Quality Committee budget.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the quote from Blue Water Science. Is there any discussion?
I have a question. Last year we had talked about gathering the lake quality data with Steve McComas and giving him a project of collecting, as much data as he could about our lake, the water quality. Did we get anywhere with that?
Yeah.
You know, I think that what we ended up with is to go to the Rice Creek Watershed District, and I raised that with them, but I haven't heard back, so I'll make a note to check on that. Thank you for bringing that up,
I
Mary.
mentioned that to McComas, that because he's always a year behind. So you can get up to date. I said Ramsey County when I was talking, but I meant Rice Creek, I guess. I wasn't sure about that. To get more up-to-date stuff. Thanks for asking. We'll do that.
Okay, so any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes.
Anybody who wants to come along when we do the survey, you're welcome. It takes most of the day. I'm done. Oh, wait, no, I'm not done. Lake level is 23.72.
923.72.
923.72, fair amount above average. Next month, I'll request a swimmer's itch letter. DNR grant approval. I applied for a grant in January, which I mentioned, for $4,000, and we got approved for the grant. It came back for $7,500.
Jeez.
So the reason that happened was that when I applied, the legislature makes these funds available for lake associations. This year, they did a little side fund for municipalities. And so Jake at the DNR, who I apply to, said, I'm going to take your application and put it over with municipalities because they get the money. So that's how we got $7,500. And it's all approved, just waiting for us to spend it and then be reimbursed. So feel good about that.
Thank you for that, Mike.
Unless there's any questions, that's it for me.
What about ice out date?
That's not in Lake Quality.
Oh, it's
No,
not.
Wildwood Bay.
But you're in charge of it, right?
Ask Chris Churchill what's going on. Wildwood Bay is all iced in, and it's not moving.
However you want to have the definition.
It's all your fault.
It's your call.
Wildwood Bay, the ice isn't out, but the ice is out all over the rest of the lake. Do we not call that ice out?
You know, that's a good question. But the guidelines that I was given were that you can go to every shore, Wildwood being one of the shores on the lake, and then it's open.
Yep.
So
Maybe tomorrow.
I am open for the rain and the wind tomorrow, and so is the White Bear Press.
Thanks for picking that up, Mike. Being the official ice out person, that's important.
First to know.
Yeah. The Iceman.
Yes.
Okay, any further questions for Mike? Okay, thank you, Mike. Lake Utilization Committee, Mark.
Mr. Chair, Board, we have a pretty full docket, but it went actually pretty well today. Just start going down the list. The first one is tallies. The LUC unanimously approved, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the tallies dock application. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that passes.
Next one is Black Bear Yacht Racing Schedule. Again, LUC approved, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Black Bear yacht racing. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you. Next on the list is White Bear Yacht Club Racing Schedule. And again, LUC approved, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the White Bear Yacht Club race schedule, I guess, and any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes.
And I just want to put a note in there. You know, they've been doing this together for years, and I just want to say, if anybody from either are listening, thank you for, they always make sure that they're never racing at the same time, so they coordinate it out. So that's much appreciated. Next one is Russ Becker. That's at the end of the peninsula. 2 docks and swim decks, but all within the ADUA. And the LUC approved, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? And I'll start. I'd just like to re-up on why we allow Mr. Becker to have the 2 docks. And
You want some history on it?
sure, that'd be great.
So when the Beckers moved in, initially, they started putting docks all across the peninsula. They have basically the whole end of that peninsula, so it wraps around. It's a lot of shoreline. But But they do have a problem with people congregating in that area. There are sandbars there. The previous owners didn't really say much about it, but the bikers didn't like it. So they started putting docks out. And they originally were going to put, not knowing we had ordinances, they were going to put 5 docks out, and they were going to put the swim rope buoys from dock to dock to dock, basically blocking off a section of the lake, which we can't have. In the end, there was a lot of discussion, a lot of going back and forth, and one of the docks has a DNR boat on it. So the DNR keeps their boat on Mr. Becker's dock, and they allow him to park. They allow not him, they allow the DNR to park at their place. So given that, given the amount of shoreline, they don't have any more than 4 boats. So we just sort of came to an agreement that it would be okay in this situation because of everything to have those 4. And it's every year it comes up, so we can deny or accept or, approve either way.
And it looks like, and I'm just reading here, it looks like they have 1,630 feet of shoreline, and that and sorry, I didn't look at this earlier, the DNR stores a canoe.
Okay.
At that location. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
The next is Birchwood Village, and so what they do is the city puts in the application for all of their docks, and what happened, it got tabled last time because they said change from last year. We couldn't tell what the changes were. They came back and basically said we took a boat off. They took 1 boat off of 2 of their docks, so they actually lessened the amount of boats. So that was the change. The LUC approved tonight, and I so move.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the Birchwood dock application. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, it passes.
The next one that was tabled, and again in the LUC tonight, we got some comments and justification for the Bonin dock, and the LUC approved, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? One thing I'll add to this is Scott Bonin is on the LUC, but he abstained from voting on this item.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes.
McCartney Estates, no change from last year. LUC approved, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. It passes.
The next one is Forest Heights. That's over in Matamidi. No change from last year. LUC approved, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Forest Heights. Any discussion?
One thing, did they discuss any of the feathering of the slips? Like, are they going to make sure they put them in the right spot? Because I know last year I was parked at the dock north of it, and I were given it was a kid driving, right?
Okay.
But he was like, move your boat, and I'm like, well, I'm parked at a different dock, right? So I know Kyle. Would you care if I reached out to Kyle just to make sure they got with the Cruises and Naps, who are the neighbors, and just said, make sure you get these feathered right? Because I think last year they had Miller Mobile put them in, or somebody else did them, and they just plopped them.
If you would love to do that, that would be great, because, yeah, it's always easier to do it beforehand than once everything's in.
Just to make sure they get an agreement and they're all cool with it. Because last year they were like straight, and it was like
Okay.
impossible to get in there.
And just for reference, we had no, as far as I know, we had no complaints on that dock last year.
Yeah, I think they get along, right? I think they just have to, it's one of those conversations like what we were talking about even with yours a few months ago. It's like once they talk, everything's cool.
Right.
So.
Thanks again.
That's the only thing I would have them do.
Any further discussion? Or did we already? Okay, any further discussion? Did we vote on this already or not?
No.
No, we're still in discussion. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes.
The next one is MPQD rentals, and this is an interesting one. I feel remiss that I didn't realize that there's these services now that are like Airbnb for boats, and people who own boats will rent their boats out, and they will meet you, and they will drop their boat in the water for you, and you rent their boat for the day, and then they come and pick up their boat when you're done with it. This is a pair of individuals that actually are doing it the right way and wanted to get a permit for doing business on White Bear Lake. Unfortunately, their insurance, because one of the boat is coming from Florida, it's a pontoon and a jet boat. One of the boats is coming from Florida, so they can't get it commercially insured until the registration gets into Minnesota. So they didn't have the proper insurance, so we tabled it. But just FYI, this is going to start becoming a thing.
And they're bopping them between lake to lake to lake, I take it, too? Like, there's...
Apparently, yeah. They'll just tow it to wherever you want to meet them. And these people wanted to go, they're from here, and they just want to stay. They want to stay local and just keep it in the neighborhood and keep it in White Bear Lake. But yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, they created a business to do this. We have no idea how many people are doing it without a business. So they did it the right way, and so yeah.
I have a question about, I went to their website and it also says they rent jet skis. Are those going on White Bear too?
Their application didn't say anything about jet skis, but I right now, as far as I know, so and I said this at the meeting, my family has gone up north and rent cabins, and I have relatives that will go to the dealership in wherever, Baxter, and they'll rent a boat for the weekend and they'll drop it on any lake. However, that's a commercial they're a marina, they're a boat. They sell boats and buy boats and fix boats. This is a little different than that, but I don't know. All the discussion, I'll take anything, but this is coming.
And Meredith, just to respond to your question, their application is just for two. One is a 2020 Yamaha AR190, and the other is a
22 Sylvan.
Okay, 22 Sylvan. So just the two.
Yeah, I saw that, but their website has jet skis too, so
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
And I think historically, it sounds like they've maybe did what Chris was, or whoever said it, that they just go lake. They were going lake to lake around the metro area, but now they've decided to just focus on White Bear with these two boats anyway. But they'll be back for the May meeting, it sounds like.
Yeah. And as it was discussed earlier, if they hadn't come to us to pay us for a license, we would never know that anybody was doing it. Just like, well, never mind. I won't go into that either. That's it. Any other questions?
Swell Enterprises, we added.
Oh, I'm sorry that we added Swell. So Swell is the Wake Surf Open. Thank you very much. The only thing that somebody caught on the application is, I'm sure they want the 24th and 25th of June this year because it's a Friday and Saturday, but they still had 2020 on it. And so I think they're just changed the dates, forgot to change the year on the application. But the LUC approved, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Swell Enterprises application. Any discussion? And can I just ask, so are these, these are wake surf boats that they're using in a specific area of the lake, having this competition or whatever they do for a couple of days in June?
Yes. They set up in Ramsey Park, and their competition area is in between the rock bar and the launch.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes.
Any other questions for me? Yes, ma'am.
Could you ask that group that's renting at the next meeting when they come in to see you if their intention is to just do those two boats or also jet skis,
I will do that.
just to see what their intention is? Thank you.
I think one of the boats they're using is a jet boat.
Yep.
on the application, and maybe that's the confusion.
They call it a jet ski on the website.
On the website, yeah, they show pictures of jet skis.
Yeah.
Maybe it's old website. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'll check.
yeah, just ask them.
That's easy.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet.
Any further questions for Mark?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Lake Education Committee, Scott.
Yeah, we've, our big educational program this year is the Adopt a Drain Challenge. And things have been going pretty well there. When we got the data from the program a month ago, we were at 9.7% of all the drains in the 5 cities around the lake. 1 month later, it is now at 11.9%. So there's a 2.2% increase. Our goal is to try to double that 9.7, which would be 19.4 by the end of October. I've been working, both Meredith and I have made some contacts. I've primarily been talking with the city of White Bear Lake because the city of White Bear Lake actually has a person in charge of this. And we're doing various things in terms of the community newsletter, the utility billings. And I know the township has something in their utility. We started out by informing all 5 cities through their city clerks. And I spent some time talking to Connie, who does this for the city. She'll be presenting a stormwater management plan 1 week from today in these chambers, and there'll be a public hearing. And I said I'd stand up and give a little rah-rah for stormwater drainage adoption. So things are going quite well. I'm doing monthly updates. The person from the program at Hamlin University is sending me the data, and I put it in a spreadsheet, and there you have it.
I have a question. Can you kind of just go over what's basically entailed in what's the job?
What do you have to do to adopt a drain?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you get on their website and then click on there's little tags where the drains are.
Yep.
It's incomplete data, so if you know of a drain that's not there, you can submit it.
Okay.
Then you can name your drain. Okay, so I adopted 2 drains, and I named them Dwayne and Wayne, the drains. And what it's entailed is a couple times a month, you walk to your drain. I bring a little rake and a broom and a dustpan on a long handle and kind of a yard waste bucket. And I sweep it off and put it in that and then throw it in the trash.
Okay.
Do you address them by first name?
Yeah, well, I got an awful lot of sediment out of Wayne.
So you're going down into the drain?
No.
Okay,
no,
just the surface.
Yeah, because you can't get into
so the curb
drains.
and the drain itself.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So I got like 17 pounds of wet sediment and leaves out of Wayne.
Okay.
Dwayne wasn't in much trouble.
That's good to know. Thank you for that, though. I appreciate it.
Oh, man.
Hey, and I'll just say thank you both for your efforts there. As you mentioned, the township sent out a mailer in the utility bill. Thank you, township. And I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, onward, Meredith.
We're still getting about 1,000 views a week on our social media. This month, I hopefully have an ice out post planned. We'll see how that goes, but I'm hopeful. Earth Day, and I'm going to promote Adopt a Drain within our Earth Day and general cleanup of the lake. Some stuff on wake rules, and probably something on the starry stonewort, since that's our probably the invasive we're trying to prevent the most.
Okay, great. Any questions for Scott and Meredith? Okay, thank you both. And, okay. Treasurer's report, which is listed for Diane because I did not change that, but that's actually Mike.
She can do it.
Yes. Okay, Mike?
Do you want me to? Okay. You've all had a chance to look at the treasurer's report, I'm sure. Any questions? Obvious, really. I'd like to make a motion to approve checks number 4752 through 4757.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve those checks. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes.
Okay. Budget. Do you want to talk about the budget, Diane?
Just that next month, we'll be handing out a budget worksheet for 2023, and if anyone on the board would like to think about money that you need for your committee or anything else you can think of, just to give Mike or myself a call or email, and we can start doing the budget. We need to approve it in June, and then it gets sent out at our June meeting, and then it gets sent out July to the cities with their apportionment.
Okay.
Brian, you're next.
Okay, I will take that. QuickBooks support is the next item on our agenda. Personally, I think one of the most important functions of the board is to make sure we keep track of our money well, and QuickBooks helps us to do that. We're transitioning now from an old administrative or a previous administrative assistant to a new administrative assistant, hopefully. And I think it would be a good idea to hire a professional firm to look at our QuickBooks and maybe take care of our QuickBooks for 4 to 6 months to make sure all is well while the new administrative assistant comes up to speed with QuickBooks, and when they receive the QuickBooks file, that we have confidence that it's accurate. I would like to make a motion, and then we can have some discussion. I'd like to make a motion that Mike be allowed to hire a firm, and there's a firm in downtown White Bear that he's been talking, or he's talked with briefly about this, and that he be allowed to offer up to $1,000 to this firm to look over our QuickBooks and prior to our May meeting. And then we would also receive a proposal from this company to take care of our QuickBooks for, let's say, 6 months, that would come to the board for approval.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. What do we think?
Yeah, it's really important to have your finances solid.
And one thing we found when we transitioned from between our previous, when we made the transition previously to a new administrative assistant, is that there were some things that had to be gone back and taken care of that weren't quite right. And so we can, I think by going about it this way, we can help to avoid that. And then the other thing is, then we're confident, I think, that the new administrative assistant is getting good training from this company as far as, just making sure that all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed.
Good idea.
Okay, further discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, thank you for that. Okay, any questions for Mike? Okay, we'll move on to the board council report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sorry about the voice, by the way. I thought this might salve it, but I'm not so lucky. Last month, of course, we were probably all more focused on the administrative assistant position than anything. And I don't think that anyone's mentioned this, but in the process, I'd say that the exodus of Kim went pretty well. And so as far as I know, we've got all of our materials back from her. As you all know, she was working from home as much, if not more, than anywhere else. And so I think, unless someone tells me otherwise, that relationship is now completely severed. And so we're looking forward. And so I'd say that's probably what we did last month. We have one prosecution in the works at the moment, and I guess I would stand for questions.
There's one check downstairs in the office. Are you aware of that check? I think it's...
I never go downstairs.
Okay. There's just a note on it there's a note on it that says, Alan says don't cash yet.
Alan says?
Alan. That's you.
Other Alan?
No, you.
Alan hasn't seen the check, so I don't remember Alan saying that.
Okay.
But we'll cover it later.
Okay, we'll chat. Thank you.
But I'm sure I meant it when I said it. Anyway, thanks, Board.
And announcements. I don't have any announcements. Does anybody have anything they would like to announce? Okay. And item 10, adjournment. Would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
I would make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you all for making the meeting and doing so well. That one.